The storm outside screamed across the old outpost, throwing dust and metal pieces through the air. Inside, a single human worked under the dim lights. His name was Ethan Gray, a mechanic who fixed broken things for money and sometimes for food. He thought this night would be like any other quiet night on the edge of nowhere. But he was wrong. He heard a soft knock on the metal door, weak and slow. At first he thought it was the wind again. Then came another knock, then a voice. A woman's voice. "Please, anyone here?" It was shaking, desperate, almost breaking. Ethan grabbed his plasma torch and moved carefully to the door. No one should be out there, especially not during a sandstorm. He pressed the unlock button. The door slid open with a metallic groan. A tall woman stumbled in, her body covered in dust and blood. But she wasn't human. Her skin shimmered faint blue and her eyes glowed faintly silver, like light trapped in water. In her arms was a small child barely breathing. Ethan froze. What the hell?" The woman fell to her knees. "Please," she gasped. "My son, he's dying. Help him." Ethan looked at the child. His chest rose and fell too fast. His skin was pale gray and strange blue veins glowed under it. "I'm no doctor," Ethan said. "I fix machines." "You fix life," she said weakly, pointing at his tools. "You can help him, please." Her eyes were full of tears and fear, real fear, not the kind soldiers or smugglers had. Ethan didn't know who she was or what kind of creature she came from. But something in her voice, something in how she held her boy, it broke him inside. He lifted the child gently from her arms. "All right, let's see what I can do." He placed the boy on his workbench and turned on the scanners. The device beeped and showed the child's heart rate. Ethan frowned. He's got 2 heartbeats. The alien mother's eyes widened. "Please don't stop. His second heart is failing. If it stops, the first will too." Ethan swallowed hard. "Lady, I don't have alien medicine. I have human tools and old ship parts." "Then use them," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Use anything. I'll do anything. Just save my son." Her last words hit him hard. He looked at her again, and for a moment she didn't look like an alien. She looked like a mother begging for her child's life. Ethan had seen death before. He'd seen soldiers cry, but never like this. He took a deep breath and rolled up his sleeves. "Okay, no promises, but I'll try." The storm outside grew louder. Lightning flashed across the desert sky, turning the windows white. Inside, the small outpost became a battlefield of tools and wires. Ethan used the med scanner to map the child's veins, then tried to stabilize the second heart with energy pulses. The machine sparked. The boy's chest jerked. The mother gasped, holding her hands over her mouth. "Is he—" "Not yet," Ethan said. "Come on, little guy, don't you quit on me." He kept working. Minutes felt like hours. Sweat rolled down his face. Every time he thought he'd lost the boy, the second heart twitched again. Then suddenly both heartbeats aligned, thump, 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 steady and strong. Ethan let out a breath and sat back. He's stable. For now. The mother fell to the floor, tears running down her face. She whispered something in her own language, a prayer maybe, and then looked at him. "Thank you, human." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "Don't thank me yet. I don't even know what happened to him." "What kind of illness was that?" Her eyes darkened. "Not illness, curse," he frowned. "Curse?" "He was born with 2 hearts," she said softly. "Our people believe such children are dangerous. They are called the cursed ones. The soldiers hunt them. That's why we ran." Ethan blinked. "You're saying your own kind wants to kill your son?" She nodded, trembling. "They think his blood is wrong. But it's not wrong, it's different." Ethan stood silently, trying to process her words. He looked at the boy again. 2 hearts, 2 rhythms, different blood. Then he noticed something else. The scanner showed traces of human DNA in the child's system. He stared at the screen, his mouth going dry. "Wait, this can't be right." The alien woman's eyes met his. "You see it too." Before he could say another word, a sharp alarm started beeping from his radar console. Multiple heat signatures approaching fast. Ships. Her face turned pale. "They found us." Ethan turned toward the window. Through the sandstorm, bright red lights flickered in the distance. Not rescue ships, hunters. He looked back at the mother and her child. She clutched the boy close, whispering words of comfort in her strange tongue. Ethan grabbed his plasma cutter again. "You picked the wrong place to die, lady." She looked up in surprise. "What will you do?" Ethan smirked grimly. "I'll buy you some time." Outside, the storm howled louder as the first alien ship descended on the outpost. The dust glowed red under its thrusters. Inside, Ethan stood beside the alien mother and the boy, ready for whatever was coming next. He didn't know why he cared. He didn't know what they were to him. But one thing was clear. He wasn't letting anyone hurt them. The radar screamed. The ground shook. And the battle for the boy's life was about to begin. The alien ships landed in the storm with heavy thuds, their engines burning red against the night sky. Ethan felt the vibration under his boots. Dust and sparks fell from the ceiling as the whole outpost trembled. He switched off the main lights, leaving only a faint blue emergency glow. The alien mother held her son close, whispering softly in her strange language. The boy's two hearts beat in a strange rhythm, one fast, one slow. Ethan could hear it when he got close, like two drums trying to find the same song. He whispered, "If they're after the boy, they won't stop." The mother's voice was weak but steady. "You don't understand, human. They don't just want him dead. They want to erase him. Erase." Ethan frowned. "They believe the cursed ones bring disaster to our kind. They think my son will end our bloodline. They will kill me too for hiding him." Ethan clenched his fists. "Not on my watch." He guided them to the storage room behind thick metal crates. The old outpost was falling apart, but its structure was strong enough to hide them, at least for a while. He handed the woman a small oxygen mask for the boy. "Keep him quiet. They'll scan for life signs," he said. She looked at him, confused. "Why are you helping me? Your kind has every reason to hate mine." Ethan gave a small, tired smile. "Maybe, but I fix things. That's what I do, and your boy deserves a chance." Outside, the sound of boots and metal echoed closer. A voice shouted in alien tongue, sharp and commanding. The scanner light flashed through the broken window. Ethan crouched near the door, gripping his plasma cutter like a weapon. The mother touched his shoulder. "You'll die if you fight them." He didn't look back. "Then I'll make it count." The first alien soldier stepped inside the outpost. His armor gleamed with symbols Ethan didn't understand. His glowing eyes scanned the room and his voice came through a speaker. "Hand over the child, human. You don't know what you protect." Ethan slowly stepped from the shadows. "You want the kid? You'll have to go through me." The soldier raised his blaster. "So be it." Before he could shoot, Ethan hit a switch on the wall. The floor vents burst open, releasing steam and smoke. He dove behind a crate and fired his plasma cutter. A blinding arc of blue light sliced through the air, melting part of the soldier's weapon. The alien screamed, falling back, but more entered behind him. 3, maybe 4. Energy bolts ripped through the walls, setting fire to the storage bay. Sparks danced across the floor. The smell of metal and burning oil filled the air. Ethan fought like a man with nothing to lose. He ducked, rolled, and fired using every tool he could find. His arms shook with exhaustion, but he didn't stop. Every second he fought was another second for the mother and her son to live. The alien mother watched in disbelief. No one from her world had ever fought for them before, especially not a human. When the last bolt burned through his shoulder armor, Ethan fell back, gasping in pain. One of the aliens aimed at his chest. But before he could fire, a strange light flashed from behind Ethan. The child, barely awake, had raised his tiny hand. His blue veins glowed brighter and brighter until the air itself trembled. The alien blaster exploded in the soldier's hand. A shockwave threw everyone back. The mother screamed, running to her son. "No, you'll burn yourself." But the boy didn't cry. His eyes glowed gold for a moment, and both his hearts beat in perfect unison. Thump, thump. Thump, thump, then he collapsed, silent. Ethan stared, eyes wide. What did he just do? The mother looked at him with shaking hands. "He awakened. I prayed this day would never come." "What does that mean?" Ethan asked. "It means his power is waking up. And once it's fully alive, no one can stop what's inside him." Before Ethan could ask more, the radar alarm beeped again. 10 more ships were landing nearby, reinforcements. He gritted his teeth. "Great, we're surrounded." The alien mother looked down at her son, tears in her glowing eyes. "If they take him, they'll kill him before sunrise." Ethan stood up, ignoring the pain in his arm. "Then we don't let that happen." He checked his scanner. The desert storm outside was still strong. Visibility near 0. That was their only advantage. He grabbed a breather mask and threw one to her. "Follow me." "Stay close." They ran out the back door into the storm. The wind hit them like knives and sand bit at their skin. The alien ship's lights cut through the fog like angry eyes. Ethan half carried, half dragged the alien boy while the mother stumbled beside him. The storm swallowed their shapes as they ran toward the dark cliffs in the distance. Behind them, the outpost exploded in a burst of fire and dust. The mother looked back, whispering, "They will never stop." Ethan didn't turn around. "Neither will I." They disappeared into the storm. 3 figures, 1 human, 1 alien mother, 1 dying child running for a future no one believed could exist. Far above them, the alien ships hovered like predators scanning the desert. The commander of the hunt pressed his clawed hand on the console and snarled, "Find them. The cursed one must not live." In the heart of the storm, the boy's faint heartbeat echoed again, 2 hearts, 1 rhythm, and somewhere deep inside him, a light began to glow. The cave was dark and cold, hidden deep inside the canyon. The storm outside had finally gone quiet, leaving behind only the sound of the wind whispering through cracks in the rock. Ethan sat near a small fire he'd built using broken ship panels and fuel gel. The orange light danced across the cave walls and over the pale faces of the alien mother and her child. The boy lay on a blanket, his 2 hearts beating unevenly again. 1 strong, 1 weak. His breathing was shallow. Ethan checked the readings on his small scanner and shook his head. "He's fading," he whispered. The alien mother stared at the boy, her hands trembling. "I can feel it too. His energy. It's unstable." Ethan leaned back against the rock wall. His arm was still bleeding from the last fight, but he didn't care. He looked at her. "You said before he's different. That your people call him cursed. Why?" Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the firelight. "Because his blood is not like ours," she said softly. "He carries something ancient. Something that shouldn't exist." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked away, her voice low and full of shame. "He carries human blood." Ethan froze. "What?" She nodded slowly. "Long ago, before your kind disappeared from the stars, some of your people lived among us. They worked as scientists, explorers, even soldiers. But when the war began, most were killed. Only a few left traces, genes hidden deep inside our bloodlines. My son, he's one of those traces made real again." Ethan looked down at the boy. "Half human. Half alien?" She nodded. "He is proof that our species can mix, that we are not so different after all. But my people see him as corruption. They fear what he represents." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "So they want to kill him just because of what he is?" "Yes," she said bitterly. "If the High Council learns his blood carries your DNA, they will hunt every one of us who shares that bloodline." Ethan stood and paced the small cave, frustration boiling in his chest. "That's insane. He's just a kid." She looked up, her eyes full of pain. "To them, he's a symbol of shame. But to me," she looked at the boy, her voice trembling, "he's my universe." Silence filled the cave for a while. The fire crackled. The boy stirred slightly, whispering something in a weak voice. "Mother. Cold." Ethan took off his own jacket and placed it over the child. "He's warm now." The mother looked at him, tears welling in her eyes. "Why do you care, human? Why risk your life for us?" Ethan gave a tired smile. "Because I lost someone too. My son, years ago. Couldn't save him." He swallowed hard, his voice low. "Didn't get there in time." The alien mother's eyes softened. "So that's why you helped us." "Maybe," he said. "Or maybe I just don't like bullies who call murder justice." She almost smiled, but then her expression changed. Her ears twitched. "Wait," Ethan turned. He heard it too. A faint hum, like engines cutting through air. He ran to the cave entrance and peeked outside. Drones, 3 of them scanning the canyon with red lights. "They found us," he hissed. The alien mother grabbed her son. "We have to go." Ethan nodded. "No, if we run, they'll see movement. I'll distract them." "You'll die," she said sharply. He grinned weakly. "Maybe, but it's kind of becoming a habit." Before she could stop him, Ethan crawled through the narrow path to the outer ridge. The drones were close now, their sensors sweeping across the rocks. He picked up a broken metal plate, reflected his heat signature, and threw it far across the canyon. The drones turned instantly, chasing the false signal. But one of them turned back halfway. Its sensors caught something. A heartbeat, 2 actually, inside the cave. Ethan shouted, "Run!" The mother scooped her son and ran deeper into the caves. Laser fire burned past her, cutting stone and smoke into the air. Ethan grabbed a fallen blaster from the sand and fired wildly, blowing one drone apart. The others focused on him. He yelled, "Come on, you metal bugs!" and fired again. Energy blasts lit the night. The last drone shot him through the shoulder and he fell backward into the sand, his body burning with pain. The mother screamed his name but kept running, clutching her child. Behind her, the cave ceiling began to crumble. She reached the end, a dead end, trapped. She looked down at her son's glowing eyes, both hearts pounding faster than ever. His skin shimmered with blue light. "No," she whispered. "Not again," but the boy looked at her, calm now. "Mama, let me help." Before she could answer, light exploded from his chest, golden and pure, spreading through the walls like living fire. The drones shattered. The rocks melted into smooth glass, and Ethan, lying near the entrance, saw the light too. He whispered weakly, "Kid, what are you?" Then everything went white. When the light faded, the boy was unconscious again, resting in his mother's arms. Ethan crawled back toward them, every bone aching. She looked at him, voice trembling. His blood, it woke something ancient, something neither human nor alien. Ethan breathed heavily, staring at the faint glow in the boy's veins. Whatever it is, the universe just got a lot more dangerous. Outside the cave, far above the desert, the alien commander received the energy reading. He leaned closer to his screen, his voice low and cold. "Confirm location," he said. "The hybrid has awakened. Prepare the execution unit." The night sky was burning red when Ethan woke again. His head throbbed. His shoulder was bandaged with rough alien fabric, and the cave was silent except for the slow breathing of the alien boy. The mother sat near the entrance, watching the horizon. Her eyes were glowing faint silver, reflecting the firelight. Ethan slowly sat up. "How long was I out?" She turned, her voice low. "A few hours. You lost too much blood. I used my energy to keep you alive." He blinked, trying to stay awake. "Your energy?" She nodded. "It's what keeps our hearts beating. We can share it, but it shortens our life." Ethan looked at her in disbelief. "You gave part of your life. For me," she smiled sadly. "You gave yours for my son first." Ethan said nothing for a moment. The boy's breathing was steadier now, though faint blue veins still glowed under his skin. "How's the kid?" "He's asleep," she whispered. The power inside him burned too bright. "It's sleeping again. For now," Ethan sighed. "Good, because we'll need him alive if we're going to get out of here." The alien mother looked toward the canyon's edge. "They're not far. The soldiers, my own people, they've surrounded this desert. They'll find us soon." Ethan rubbed his face. "Then we make a deal," she frowned. "A deal?" He nodded. "If I distract them, maybe you and the boy can escape through the canyon tunnels. There's a collapsed mine shaft about 2 clicks east. You can hide there till I get back." Her eyes widened. "No, you've done enough, human. They'll kill you." Ethan gave a dry laugh. "Lady, I'm already half dead. Besides," he looked at the sleeping child. "Some lives are worth dying for." Before she could answer, a thunderous voice echoed outside. The ground shook. A ship had landed nearby, larger than the others. Its engines screamed like monsters. Ethan crawled to the entrance and peeked out. Dozens of soldiers lined up in perfect formation, and at the center a tall figure in black armor stepped out. His eyes burned red. The alien mother gasped. "No, that's Commander Rathul." "Who?" Ethan asked. She trembled. "The one who hunts the cursed ones. He answers only to the High Council. He's here for my son." Ethan gritted his teeth. "Then he's going to have to get through me first." Rathul's voice boomed across the canyon. "Ilaria of the Sheen clan, you have committed treason against the Empire. Surrender the hybrid child and I will allow you a clean death." The mother stood, her fists clenched. "He is not a hybrid. He is my son." Rathul raised his weapon. "Then both of you will die." Ethan stepped out of the shadows. "Hey, Metalface, try killing someone who fights back." The soldiers turned instantly. Rathul's eyes narrowed. "A human?" Ethan grinned weakly. "Last one you'll ever see." Before they could fire, Ethan hit a button on his wrist console. A line of old mining charges he'd planted earlier erupted in a chain of explosions. The ground cracked open, throwing dust and flame into the air. The soldiers stumbled as the shockwave hit. "Run!" Ethan shouted. Ilaria grabbed her son and sprinted toward the canyon tunnels. Blaster fire rained down behind her. Ethan fired back with the plasma rifle he'd scavenged from a fallen drone, his hands trembling but steady enough to aim. Rathul emerged through the smoke, his armor glowing red-hot. He raised his weapon, aiming directly at Ilaria's back. Ethan saw it, shouted, and dove in front of the blast. The bolt hit him square in the chest, throwing him to the ground. "Ethan!" she screamed. He coughed, pain burning through him. "Go. Keep running." But she didn't. She turned around, fire in her eyes, and walked toward the commander. "Enough," she shouted. "You want a bargain? Take me instead." Rathul lowered his weapon. "You offer your life?" "Yes," she said, voice breaking. "Kill me. Spare the child." The commander smiled coldly. "You misunderstand me. Ilaria, the boy's death is mercy. Yours will be punishment." He raised his weapon again, but before he could fire, something strange happened. The cave behind her began to glow gold. The child's faint heartbeat echoed through the canyon. 2 hearts, 1 rhythm. Rathul's armor sensors went wild. What is this energy? Ilaria turned slowly, her eyes wide. The boy was standing at the mouth of the cave, glowing like a small star. His eyes were golden now, brighter than the sun. The sand lifted from the ground around him, swirling in a spiral of light. Ethan, still bleeding on the ground, whispered, "Kid, stay back." The boy raised his hand. "Don't hurt my mother." A blast of pure energy shot from his chest, throwing the soldiers across the canyon like leaves in a storm. The shockwave melted weapons, crushed rocks, and silenced everything. When it was over, only dust remained. Rathul's armor was cracked, his red eyes flickering. "Impossible," he hissed. "You should not exist." The boy looked at him calmly. "Neither should hate." The commander tried to stand, but his armor failed. He fell to his knees. Ilaria ran to her son, wrapping him in her arms. Ethan smiled weakly from where he lay, blood staining the sand. Ilaria turned to him. "You saved us again." He chuckled painfully. "You're welcome." But then the boy looked at Ethan, tears filling his glowing eyes. "Mother, he's dying." Ilaria pressed her hands on Ethan's chest, her energy glowing faintly. "No," she whispered. "I won't lose another life today." The gold light spread from her hands into Ethan's body. His breath caught and the wound began to close. He gasped, his eyes opening again. Ilaria smiled through tears. "There, now we are even." Ethan looked at her, then at the boy. "No," he said softly. "Now, we're family." Far above, in the sky filled with smoke and stars, the surviving ships began to regroup. Rathul's voice came faintly from the wreckage, low and furious. "Send a message to the council." The hybrid lives and the hunt was far from over. The canyon was silent after the battle. Only the wind whispered through broken rocks and the faint glow of the dying fire painted the sand gold. Ethan lay still, breathing slowly, while the alien mother, Ilaria, watched over her son, whose faint blue light had dimmed again. The power that had saved them was gone, as if the boy had fallen into a deep sleep. Ethan sat up slowly, his chest aching. The burns had mostly healed thanks to Ilaria's strange energy, but he still felt weak, like something heavy sat on his heart. "What happened back there?" he asked quietly. Ilaria's silver eyes shimmered. He awakened for the first time. The power inside him, something from both our worlds, it answered to his fear. Ethan looked at the boy lying on the sand. "And it nearly killed him." "Yes," she whispered. "If that energy grows faster than his body can handle, it will consume him." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "So saving him also means stopping whatever's waking inside him." Ilaria nodded. "That is why I ran. The council will use him as a weapon or destroy him. They fear what he represents, a child born of 2 enemies. Ethan stood and looked at the night sky. Dozens of small red lights were blinking far above. Enemy ships regrouping. "They're not done hunting you." "They will come again," she said softly. "And next time they'll bring more than soldiers." He looked at her. "Then we need to move." "We can't fight an army," Ilaria hesitated. "There is one place we could go. A place where humans once lived. Before the wars burned the stars. My ancestors called it sanctuary." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "You mean a human base?" "Old," she said. "Buried under the desert long before your time." The energy fields around it confused scanners. "If it still exists, we might hide there." Ethan nodded. "Then that's where we're going." They set out before sunrise. Ethan carried the boy wrapped in a blanket while Ilaria walked beside him, her steps light and silent. The desert stretched endlessly, red and golden under the new light. Every few hours they stopped to rest, sharing water and silence. Ethan watched her carefully. She was unlike any alien he had ever heard of, strong, graceful, and yet so painfully human when she looked at her son. Finally, near noon, they reached a cluster of sharp black rocks. Ilaria placed her hand on one and whispered something in her ancient language. The ground shook. Sand fell away, revealing a hidden elevator made of rusted steel. Ethan whistled. "Guess your people built this using human tech." "Not my people," she said. "Your people. The old ones." They stepped inside. The elevator creaked and sank deep into the earth. The air grew colder, darker. When the doors opened, Ethan's jaw dropped. Before them stretched a vast underground base, rows of metal walls, dead lights, and broken signs in faded English, U.S. Deep Research Station, Sol Division. "Holy," Ethan whispered. "This is human," Ilaria smiled faintly. "You see now, your kind was here long before the stars forgot you." They found a working generator and powered up part of the facility. Dim lights flickered to life. Old computers blinked awake after centuries of silence. Ethan laid the boy on a bed inside the old medical bay. The machines scanned him automatically, their human systems recognizing just enough of his hybrid DNA to begin a healing cycle. As the lights blinked and the machines hummed, Ethan sat beside him, lost in thought. "He's special, Ilaria. I've seen strange things in the war, but nothing like him," she nodded slowly. "He is proof that humans were not erased, only forgotten." Ethan leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Guess that makes him the future. But then a sharp alarm sounded. The old human computers flashed red. The system had detected incoming energy signatures, multiple. Ilaria's face went pale. "They found us!" Ethan jumped up. "How? I thought this place was hidden." "It was," she said, until he woke up again. They turned to see the boy, eyes half open, glowing faintly gold. His two hearts beat loudly in the silence. "Mother," he whispered. "They're coming." Ethan grabbed his rifle. "Then we meet them here." Ilaria shook her head. "No. If they reach this place, they'll destroy what's left of your people's history. The sanctuary will fall." Ethan clenched his jaw. "Then we take the fight outside." Before he could move, the boy sat up. His eyes glowed brighter, and the lights around the base flickered like stars. "I can stop them," he said weakly. "I can make them sleep," Ilaria gasped. "No, you'll die if you use it again." Ethan knelt beside him. "Kid, listen to your mom. You already saved us once." "That's enough," but the boy smiled faintly. "I don't want anyone to die anymore." A hum filled the air. The walls vibrated. The computers went dark one by one. Then through the ceiling, a light like dawn spread across the desert. Every enemy ship froze in place mid-air, their engines silent, their power gone. Ilaria covered her mouth, tears in her eyes. "He did it." Ethan looked at the boy who had fallen unconscious again, his chest rising slowly. "He saved us all." Ilaria picked him up, holding him close.
"He's changing," she whispered.
"The human part of him is waking." Ethan stood beside her, staring up at the faint light coming through the cracked roof. Then maybe that's what the universe needed, a little more human in it. But far above, in the silent black sky, a massive shadow moved. A ship larger than any before, its hull marked with the sigil of the High Council. Ilaria's expression turned grim. "They've sent the elders." Ethan's hand tightened on his weapon. "Then the real fight hasn't even started." The air in the old underground base grew colder as the ground above trembled. Dust fell from the cracked ceiling. Somewhere far above, thunder rolled. Not from the sky, but from the engines of the largest warship Ethan had ever seen. Ilaria held her son close, her eyes filled with fear and exhaustion. "It's them," she whispered. "The elders have come. They will not leave this world until my son is dead." Ethan stood by the control panel staring at the flickering radar screen. The ship overhead was massive, bigger than a city. "If that thing fires," he said quietly, "we're gone in seconds." Ilaria nodded. "They won't fire yet. They'll come to see him. They'll want to confirm that he's real." Ethan clenched his fists. "Then we'll give them something real to remember." He looked down at the alien boy lying on the medical bed. The child's skin glowed faintly gold, his two hearts beating together in a steady rhythm now. He looked peaceful, almost too peaceful for a child who had just stopped a fleet. Ethan sighed.
He's just a kid, Ilaria.
He shouldn't have to fight anyone. Ilaria touched her son's face gently. He was born fighting human. Not for power, but for the right to live. A loud crash echoed through the tunnels. The walls shook. The metal door warped inward under tremendous force. Ilaria spun toward it, energy crackling around her hands. Ethan grabbed his plasma rifle and took position beside her. Then the door exploded open. A dozen armored figures stepped through the smoke, carrying weapons that pulsed with violet light. And behind them walked a tall, ancient alien, white-skinned, crowned with living crystal, eyes glowing like dying suns. Ilaria's breath caught. "Elder Seraphim." The elder's voice echoed across the room, calm and deep. "You were warned, Ilaria. The blood of your son is forbidden. It stains our past and curses our future." Ethan stepped forward, his gun raised. "Funny, for someone so powerful you seem scared of a 10-year-old. Seraphim's golden eyes turned toward him. "You are the human who defies us. I should thank you. Your interference has accelerated what was inevitable." Ethan scowled. "You're not taking him." The elder raised his hand. The air shimmered. Ethan's rifle melted in his grip. The force slammed him against the wall, crushing the air from his lungs. "Ethan!" Ilaria cried out. She released a blast of her own energy, blue and fierce, but Seraphim blocked it with a wave of his palm. The shockwave threw her across the room. "Your defiance is meaningless," the elder said coldly. "The hybrid will die and his memory erased." Ethan fell to his knees, coughing blood. His vision blurred. The boy stirred at the sound of his mother's scream. His golden eyes opened slowly. "Mother?" he whispered. Ilaria crawled toward him, reaching out. "Stay down, my son, please." But the boy stood. His small feet touched the floor softly, and the ground began to glow beneath him. The light spread outward like ripples in water. Seraphim froze. "No, impossible." "He's stabilizing the dual energy." Ethan forced himself to stand. "What's happening?" Ilaria stared at her son in disbelief. "He's balancing both hearts. The human part and the alien part. They're becoming one." The boy turned to the elder. "You're afraid of me," he said softly. Seraphim snarled. "You are an abomination!" "No," the boy said, his voice calm but echoing like thunder. "I'm hope." A flash of golden light filled the chamber. Every weapon, every machine, every light flickered and died. The soldiers dropped to their knees, their armor cracking. The elder tried to fight back, but the boy's glow grew brighter and brighter until even the darkness itself seemed to burn away. Ilaria shielded her face. Ethan stood beside her, staring in awe. The boy's power was not violent, it was alive. It pulsed like a heartbeat, warm and endless. When the light faded, Seraphim was gone. Only empty armor remained, glowing faintly before turning to dust. The soldiers fled, their minds filled with terror. The boy turned to Ethan and Ilaria, his voice small again. "It's over." Ilaria ran to him, falling to her knees and wrapping her arms around him. Tears streamed down her face. "My son, you saved us all." Ethan smiled weakly. "Not just you. He saved everyone who'll come after." The boy looked at him curiously. "Is this what it means to be human?" Ethan knelt beside him. "Being human means fighting for someone else, even when you're scared, even when you think you can't win." The boy nodded slowly. "Then I want to be human." Ilaria smiled softly, resting her head against her son's. "Then maybe we all can learn to be." Outside, the massive warship began to retreat, its engines fading into the dark sky. The war was over. Not by destruction, but by something no alien council could control: understanding. Ethan stood at the entrance of the base, watching the rising sun. The desert stretched endlessly before them, glowing gold like the boy's eyes. Ilaria walked beside him, her son's hand in hers. "What now?" Ethan asked quietly. Ilaria looked at the horizon. "Now we teach both worlds what he is. Not a curse, but a promise." Ethan nodded. "A promise worth keeping." The boy looked up at him and smiled. "We'll make them see, won't we?" Ethan placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "Yeah, kid. One day they'll understand what being human really means." As the sun rose higher, its light touched the broken sands and the ruins of war. The wind carried away the last of the smoke, and for the first time in years, the world felt quiet, alive again. And in that golden light, a human, an alien mother, and a child of two hearts walked together toward the horizon, toward a future no one had ever dared to imagine.